Good morning, everybody. So we are going to start with, I know I had a question from Jen in my Marketing and AI Made Simple school community, and I'm going to answer her question. Okay. So she had a question about the content that I post, which I mainly am doing written content over like on Facebook, threads, things like that. She is asking me about my thread style post. So basically, I have a main post that has like a hook in like the main part that you see on your timeline. And then I'm redirecting people to go to the comments to finish reading it. And then I'll have like an upsell or an invite into like the free part of my funnel, like my free school community. And she said, what are you inputting into ChatGPT to do this consistently? I see that you're hitting on pain points and the solve. If you have this somewhere already, please send me to it. She also was asking me, I know I asked you this before, but if you schedule out your post, you can't add comments until it's posted. So with all the posts you do, how do you keep up with them? What is your magic? And yeah, so if you're scheduling post on Facebook, so like I have professional mode on, I have Facebook professional mode turned on, and that allows me to be able to schedule posts. And Jen is correct. If you are scheduling out posts, you cannot schedule the comments of that post. So I honestly, we went over this a little bit in the live from last week, but I store all of my content in Google Keep. And it's basically like a giant content vault. I'm like out of breath. I'm like walking my dog, picking up broken bowls, and like running around trying to clean up all the chaos in my house. Okay, so Google Keep is an extension of Google. It's a program where it's basically like a giant sticky note database. Awesome. I hope Google Keep has been working out really well for you, Justin. Google Keep is amazing, especially if you have a lot of emails. You can essentially have like a different set of sticky notes for different things with multiple email accounts. So I keep all of my content in Google Keep. So like at the end of each month, I will copy and paste my good performing content over here in Google Keep. And if it's a longer post, which most of my content is longer post, I break it up into sections, and that's how I create my threads styled content. And so I actually don't schedule a lot of my content out. I have been batching out more value posts that are strictly educational. Like I think it was 2 days ago, I scheduled out the rest of my content for January for my page and in several groups that I'm in that I'm either a mod or an admin in. You do have to be a mod or an admin to schedule posts in groups. And it's just me scheduling out my value post. That way I can strictly focus on engagement and my sales post. So, but if I'm scheduling content on my profile on Facebook, I cannot schedule anything where I have to put the comments to continue the post, because you cannot schedule comments. So anytime I'm scheduling post, it has to all be in the one body of text to be able to schedule, unless you are, you know, syncing it with your calendar and saying, okay, I know I am scheduling my post at 8 a.m. every morning, and at 8 a.m. when my post schedules, I will go put the rest of the comments in there. But that kind of defeats the purpose of batching out the content. So usually what I do is, like, let's say I'm not writing a piece of content from scratch. I go into my Google Keep where all of my content is saved. And I actually, so you can categorize things in here and put labels on your content. So like I vary between marketing content and AI content. And so I can go into, these are just notes from a test I was doing on a bot. But if I wanted to label this as a certain type of content, I would click on these 3 dots right here and click on add label. And you can create a new label, or you can choose one that already exists. So like I have one for prompts, I have one for products, which are like my sales posts. I have marketing value post and AI value post. And so once I put a label on it, I can go over here to the left-hand side. And if you're using the app version, there is a hamburger menu in the top left, and you can go to your labels And what I do is I number mine, and that way I can write down in my planner like where I left off with my content. And so if the last thing I posted was, AI value post number 4, I would go on to number 5, which you can see here I'm not finished. I'll go into value post number 5, and then that's what I'm posting for that day. So part of this is just getting more used to creating and writing content. I do not have a ChatGPT prompt that creates my content for me, and we have discussed this a little bit in the past as well. I am not personally a big fan of having ChatGPT do all of my copywriting for me, which copywriting is just basically writing your content. I'm not really a big fan of that personally. There are people that do it. There are people who know how to prompt ChatGPT well for that. I do not, and I can spot AI writing very quickly. The contrast writing is absolutely bananas. I don't know why they go so heavy on contrast writing, but I'm just not a big fan of it. And a lot of LLM copywriting that I have experienced is very surface level, even if I tell it not to be surface level. So I use it as kind of like an outline or a guide and get ideas of content and then write it myself. So that is how I keep up with how often I post and how consistent I am, is just having my vault of content in Google Keep. And what was the other part of her question? Let me see here. All the posts you do, how do you keep up with them? Yeah, so I mean, that's the magic for me, is doing my month-end business reviews and storing all the content that performed well. And the other part of this too, so like I realized in the beginning, for a lot of people, it is a harder start to get the ball rolling because you don't necessarily have a month's worth of content to go back and use. So a lot of it in the beginning is really practicing writing content, and you can get, somewhat analytical with this and try to have quote unquote perfect content. But a lot of it is just going to be like the other parts of business where you're putting stuff out there, you're seeing what performs well, you're using your analytics, which analytics scare a lot of people. I've gotten a lot of feedback that analytics scare a lot of people in the beginning, but analytics are such gold, because analytics are literally the difference between somebody getting up every day and not really knowing what to do and just kind of doing everything spur of the moment and guessing at what they should do, compared to, okay, this is what's working, this is what's not working, and reusing what's working and repurposing it, and even like rephrasing it, rewriting it, and you can have AI help you do that as well. So for me, like when I go into a module where I'm teaching content, we talk a lot about hooks. I know hooks get talked about quite a bit, but hooks are probably one of the most important parts of your content, because if you are not writing something that is stopping the scroll, because our attention span is so much shorter these days, if you're not writing something that is stopping somebody to want to read the rest of your post, nothing else in your content is going to matter, even if it's like really, really good. So that's the same thing with like video content as well, which I do more text than I do video. But hooks are very important because we're just consuming so much content, right? Like it's not that we have like dumbed down as a society. It's not that we don't care. It's just that we have gotten so used to, especially short form content. There is some long form content that is coming back that people are more interested in watching, like longer YouTube videos and docuseries and things like that, which is amazing. I love that. But a majority of people are more interested in short form content. And if they are not interested in the first like 2 seconds, they're scrolling. So same thing with like a body of text. That can also include how your text is formatted. So, if I have this content right here and it's all just one paragraph smushed together, that is not going to look as visually appealing, which sounds kind of, odd, but think about like if you scroll past a post that has like a crud ton of emojis and it looks very spammy and like things are typed very incorrectly and there's a lot of slang and people have their own preferences, but you have your own aesthetic of like what you would stop to read and what you would scroll past. So, a really good example is if somebody is posting like a storytelling type of content, and it's just one big long paragraph, a lot of people are going to be like, that is a lot to read. I am good. No, thank you. But if you have the same exact body of words and you break it up visually into smaller paragraphs, it looks a lot more readable. It doesn't look so overwhelming as to compare the first one. So that has to do with it as well. But I've really been into doing thread style content and post because, with Facebook especially, it boosts your post to be seen the more that there is engagement or comments on it. You don't want to overdo it. Facebook is very finicky with especially links in the comments, or if I were to, let's say, break this post up into 5 parts. So if I have this as my hook, how you can make graphics like this, and then I have like a logo cartoon avatar picture paired with it. And then I have my emoji hand pointing down, and then I have the steps in the comments. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. If I were to take that post with the 4 comments and go post the same thing in 5 different groups back to back, especially if I'm a newer Facebook account, Facebook is going to flag me. And if you continuously do stuff like that, it's going to be like, we think you're a bot. We think you're spamming. We think that you're this. And they will actually restrict you from being able to comment, and we don't want that to happen. So especially when you're a newer account, you want to make sure that you are being graceful with stuff like that. Only post to maybe 2 to 3 groups at a time, and try not to continuously post the same thing. So, my strategy with my niche and my target audience is I like to do what's called indirect marketing. So I'm not really into hard selling. I do sometimes have sales posts that are just completely sales posts. Like if I'm launching a bot I just made, or if there's a sale on something or what have you. But if I'm redirecting people to like a community or a paid product that already exists for me, I am wanting to give some type of input, knowledge, something actionable that my audience reading it can walk away with, even if they decide not to buy, even if they don't click on my link, even if they don't go to my free community. I'm wanting them to walk away with something where they are left with some sort of impression in their brain of, oh, that was helpful, that was useful, maybe I'll try that. Because even if they don't purchase what I am offering in the comments, they are left with a subconscious, what word am I looking for? They are left with a subconscious impression that my content gives them something of value, and I'm not just hard selling people all the time. And what I found with posting, direct market sales post and indirect marketing, where you're not directly selling, you're just kind of suggesting, or you're kind of soft selling, where, hey, this is here if you want it. I'm going to tell you why I think you need it, why this will benefit you, but also here's some other value and things that are relevant to my offer, and it makes sense to go together. And the indirect selling sells a lot more for me than the direct selling. So hooks, you want to have some value in there, some education, some inspiration, and you want to have some posts where you don't even have a soft sell in there. Obviously, that's part of the trust building factor. So there's my take on content, and I hope that helps to answer her question. I don't use ChatGPT a lot for content. I do think that it can be very helpful with building your content pillars when you are a beginner. But I see a lot of people that start a new social media and they have ChatGPT just completely write all their content, and people know, and that content generally does not get a lot of engagement unless you are really good at getting ChatGPT or whatever LLM you're working with to take the botness out of the writing. And that takes a lot of work. That takes a lot of testing. It takes a lot of work. So ChatGPT is a guide for me, not necessarily writing my content for me. But I've been diving a lot more into agent mode and building agents. Oh my gosh, Carla, the only bot you have created is the identity one. No. So I actually, let me exit out of this. So I actually started the business bot suite, and I have built 9 GBTs in 2026 alone. So we're 3 weeks into 2026, and it is a suite where people can buy a spot into the community, and they get access to all my current and future bots that I build. I'm hoping to eventually have apps and agents in there as well. I'm very heavy right now into learning about AI agents. And as of right now, I cannot build anything agent-wise in ChatGPT, but I can use agent mode in ChatGPT, and I wanted to play around with some prompts to show you guys that. But I do have the identity builder bot, but I also have 9 other GPTs, and I've built some other ones that were from last year. Let me fix my tripod. We have Noted was the first GPT that I built this year. I love this. This is like my AI news bot that is personalized to me, my business, my target audience, and the things that I want to keep up with AI. It's also kind of my go-to source for, like if I'm scrolling on Threads and I see like AI news speculation, I will hop over here into Noted and I will ask it, hey, like I keep seeing that OpenAI is going to buy Pinterest. Is there any truth to this? And Noted is actually built to gather its information with credible sources. So not just like from social media, not from like Yahoo Answers, like credible sources to tell you like this is speculation, this is not confirmed, or this is, you know, actually a legit thing. So I have a whole bunch of bots that I've been building. I have a bot that does very, very deep market research and data scraping on the web that is recent and not like some, you know, information from 2 years ago. There's a buyer psychology bot. I have my 2 bots that help people if they want to do AI photo shoots. So BookedBot will help somebody completely from scratch set up AI services and get it going in your store as a service to offer. And then there's the Shoot Room, which helps you with each of your individual clients and making sure that they have agreed to and signed or agreed to what they need to policy-wise. It helps you with their prompts. It gives you a client summary that you can store somewhere. It does a whole bunch of really cool stuff. So I'm going to drop a link in here, guys, for the Business Boss Suite. If you guys want to see what bots are in there, it'd be a lot easier than me taking up like 30 minutes to explain each bot and what they do. But okay, so here's just an example. So AI updates you should know, highest priority, OpenAI, safety gating and cheaper access tiers, big for AI education positioning. And the way that my summary is set up for Noted is it knows that I'm an educator, it knows that I teach, and that I have a community of students that I give support to and do ongoing classes for. And so when it gives me my updates for AI, for example, it tells me things that I can teach to my students. It tells me things that I can use to make a product or a service or something paid. And it also gives me things that I can automate as well. So for example, up here, it's talking about OpenAI safety gating and cheaper access. Age prediction is rolling out in ChatGPT to detect likely under 18 accounts and automatically apply additional safeguards. And so it's telling me I could teach how safety layers change what prompts work and how to design compliant automations for teams. I can make a product that is a prompt Q&A checklist for client-facing GPT workflows, especially anything that could be used by minors. So I like that because, thanks, Kay. I like that because it keeps, like if you're an educator, especially in the AI space, or even if you're just somebody offering products to do with AI, unless they're super low maintenance products, we have somewhat of a due diligence and a responsibility to kind of be up in the know of what's going on with AI. But there's so many different ventures and avenues that you can go and get information and find it from a particular set of sources. And that's why I built Noted to be my go-to in one place for that. And so this is telling me, hey, you can teach this and stay relevant with what's current. And as things change with AI, with laws, regulations, ethics, safety, stuff like that, you can implement that and integrate it into your teaching with your students. And I think that's pretty freaking cool. If we purchase this suite, will we have access to these bots and future bots? Also, can we resell them? So yeah, the Business Boss suite is going to end up being an affiliate product by the end of this month. So you will have all 9 bots that I have built this year, and any future bots that come out. I have about 3 to 4 more that I'm hoping to have done by the end of January. But all of these, so all of these bots over here on the side are the bots that you will get starting from noted and down. And if you click on the link that I put in the comments, there is actually a list of all the bots that are currently in there with the description of what they do. And then all future bots that I build are going to be put inside of the Business Boss suite. So moving on, Anthropic Agent Beyond Chat is getting packaged for normal workflows. Claude Code Work is being expanded beyond the top tier. Release notes indicate availability expanding to Pro plans on Claude Desktop for Mac, plus Claude Code access changes for team seats. So for teaching, I could teach agents that work inside folders. Product is co-work ready folder kits. So naming conventions, task templates, and Q&A steps that members can drop into their businesses. I am not there on the tech side yet, but it's cool to know that is an option. And so here are the rest of my AI updates, and then it moves on to my social platform updates. And so I have it giving me updates on YouTube, Threads, Facebook, groups, and school. And then after that, we have digital product and business updates. So example here would be agentic commerce is bleeding into creator monetization. UCP plus in-chat transactions suggest a near-term shift. Offers that are easiest for agents to understand and compare will win. Creator economy, business model segmentation is accelerating. Digiday highlighted how Creator is splitting into very different business models. Publisher-like, niche, micro, which matters for your membership positioning, retention, and recurring value. Teach this. Choose your creator business model diagnostic inside your membership onboarding. I like that a lot, actually. Then it says, like, here's some other updates that it could cover with me, but I don't really have them selected to highlight. And so that way, if there is something in here that you want to read over, you can. So I have some prompts that I want to try out. Now I have ChatGPT Plus, and if you have ChatGPT Plus, which is $20 a month, you get 40 agent mode uses per month. And so I have 37 left for my month, which my month just kind of recycled and started. But I want to use some of these prompts. Okay, so here is one that says sales optimization agent. And I have not, it's been a while since I have fiddled around with agent mode. And so I don't know completely what it can and cannot access. And so we're going to go to ChatGPT. We're going to click on the plus sign here. I am going to click on agent mode. And I'm going to say act as my sales funnel strategist with 25 years of experience. Review my last 7 days of content on Facebook and identify what prevented conversions. I'm going to say here is the link to my Facebook profile, and I'm going to send that off. And if you haven't played around with agent mode yet, it will actually have like a little box that pops up here where you can watch it do the work that it's doing. You can stop it from doing what it's doing at any point. You can take over the browser and you can see like a list of the activity and the steps that it's taking. So it's pretty fascinating. I've seen a lot of like use cases for personal life type of stuff. Like people have done their grocery shopping doing this. You can have apps and connectors connected and signed into via apps. So like if you want to connect it to your Gmail account, your Canva. I mean, there's a whole bunch of apps and connectors now that they have. You can do that and have it go and summarize like your last week's worth of emails. But there's a lot more like personal use cases, I feel like, that I've seen rather than business use cases, unless it's like big corporate types of businesses. So right now it looks like it is researching like pitfalls with social media posts, and I'm waiting to see if it will actually go into my Facebook and do what I asked it to do. So I don't know if it's researching before it heads over there, but we shall find out together and see what is going on. Task paused while you were away. ChatGPT is working with Facebook, which contains sensitive data. To resume, keep your browser's tab open and monitor actions. Okay, that's fine. Where do you get the videos for reference for the dance or motion videos? So a lot of people are getting them on TikTok, waiting due to login overlay. The screen is gray, possibly because, and then it disappeared. I'll try to open. Okay, well, let's see what this does. Yeah, so I don't know if you are a TikTok user, Pamela, but a lot of people are getting the dance videos. Like, they'll go on TikTok, they'll search for trending dance or trending dances, and then download that video to their device. You want to make sure it's under 30 seconds. I'm waiting to see if this is going to prompt me to log in or do anything. So it did go to Facebook, because my concern in the beginning was that I was just doing research on good and bad like content, basically, which is not what I wanted it to do. But it looks like it was doing that to then go and do the task I wanted it to do. And so we'll see kind of where this goes. So another thing, Pamela, is I personally, like, if I were to continuously use motion video, which I won't for now, because it is still a fairly new thing, and it's pretty costly. I haven't compared a whole ton of cost options with motion video. I know that they have it in Higgsfield, I believe, via Kling. You can do it directly in Kling. There's an option to do it in Crea. I'm not sure how expensive it is there. But as with most things AI, especially video or image related, come out, it is more costly in the beginning, and then as other people come out with the same types of things, the cost will hopefully go down. So it would be pretty expensive for me, for example, to make a motion video and batch out 30 days of content using that. That would get pretty expensive credit wise, unless there was a program that offered X amount of usage for your monthly plan. But like, for example, Kling gives you around 1,000 credits, I believe, for a $10.99 a month plan, which is pretty cost effective. But doing a 30-second motion video in Kling is anywhere from like 100 to 180 credits per video. So that's pretty expensive, especially if you need to rerun it or fix something or use like a different reference image. That can get pretty expensive. Okay, let's see what it did. Because Facebook restricts access without login, the site returned a blank page during analysis. The posts themselves could not be directly reviewed. Therefore, the evaluation below is based on general best practice guidance from credible sources about why social media content fails to convert and how to fix it. That does not help me. And so I wish what it would have done here is prompted me to log in during this process, because every time that I reply in this chat with agent mode, it's going to take up one of my uses. So it's not per agent mode chat. So if you remember in the beginning, when we hover over agent mode, it's telling me how many I have left. So I have 34 left out of 40 for me to use agent mode. I do really want to try out Manus. I don't know how to pronounce that. I do want to try out Manus, as well as possibly Anthropic for agent mode, but I'm kind of still in that process where I am differentiating the difference between, why am I talking like that today? Where I'm differentiating using just like a regular chat with LLM, using an agent, where it can kind of plan out and prepare and is more decisive and can take action for you. And then building GPTs, of course, that are programmed to do certain things for you, and like what use cases I personally would have to use agent mode with AI. I'm also very like old school, I guess, with technology, which is kind of ironic because like I'm learning about it and I'm teaching it to people. But as far as like my own preferences, I'm very old school, and like, how much am I like wanting AI to be able to take over and have certain credentials and information of mine? Like, am I comfortable with, having ChatGPT have access to my payment information to buy my groceries, or having like all of my social media logins? Am I comfortable with that? And how do I do research to determine the like level of safety in that? And that's just the old school in me and the paranoia in me. So I'm trying to determine like what I'm personally comfortable with to be able to like practice it, use it, and teach it to other people. So I've been seeing there's other platforms where people can build agents that do things for them. So one, for example, that I would love to attempt, hopefully soon, is to build an agent that can help me with onboarding members in my community. So I have things in my community set up to where when you go into the discussion, there is a pinned post that's basically like, hey, welcome in, here is where to go and what to do. And it lays out what all is in the community and where people should go for what. But if there was an agent that could give like a personalized welcoming to every member that joined my community, and like kind of chat with them and see like, hey, why did you join? What are your goals? Are you in business already? Are you completely brand new to this? And kind of guide them in, okay, well, here, you should start in this module on this lesson. You should go to this discussion tab and, read through this because this, like having something personalized that would onboard them and give them a more personal experience. I think that would be super cool to build an agent for that. And there's a lot of back-end stuff that agents could do to help you with as well. Then it asked me to paste my post, which doesn't help if I'm trying to pull a week's worth. Right, exactly. Like, yeah, that's what I've been seeing is some people, when they're demonstrating, when some people are demonstrating uses for agents, that ChatGPT, I feel like, is starting to get a reputation of telling people that certain features of theirs are going to be able to do certain things, and then it doesn't do them. And then people have to end up like finding workarounds, or, for example, Justin's comment, if you're asking it, hey, go and do this, and it's like, no, give me the information anyways. That's not something that you would need to necessarily use agent mode for. I mean, depending on what you're wanting it to go and do with that information, because agent mode can also build presentations, like PowerPoint presentations. It can read data in, like spreadsheets and Excel and things like that. And it can formulate documents and stuff like that for you, which is a little bit more than a normal ChatGPT chat can do. But it just depends. So it's like, if ChatGPT is saying like, hey, agent mode can do this, this, and this, but then it doesn't, and it doesn't find its own workaround to find a solution to what you're asking it to do we really want to use agent mode? What do you do if you don't like some of the images in a style that Crea produces? What do you mean specifically, Pamela? Like, give me some context of like what you're trying to do and like what happened. We did talk a lot last week about AI images and training characters in Crea. I think you were there, Pamela. And I gave my like prompting go-to strategy so that I'm trying to not waste as many generations as I can with imaging and AI images. I like this one. This one's cute. All right, so I'm going to take this prompt and go over to Crea. I'm going to paste it in here, and I usually set my character likeness to around 90%. I don't really mess with any of these settings down here. Under the prompt, I might change the ratio to 1:1 or 9:16, so I have some room to crop it. Did it not bring my whole prompt over here? Let me see. Uploaded my images and it produced images in the style that didn't even look like me. Like it had me way too skinny. It had me way too big. Okay. Was it just the body that was not similar, or was it like everything, like the face and everything? My other question would be, are you generating images from your trained model? Because there were points for me in the beginning, which you may not be doing this, so it might not be relevant at all. But if you go to Crea in general and you go to the image up here to create an image and just put your prompt in, it's not going to be in likeness to your trained model. So you want to make sure that you are going to the menu in the top left. My camera is not focusing. You're going to go to crea.ai/train. And then you'll find your trained character and you'll want to click on generate, and that is how you're going to generate images for your character. If it's not getting your body type right, my next question would be, do you have any full body shots that you used for your character when training the model for your character? Also, how many total images do you have for your trained Crea character? Yeah, so like with Crea, just to revisit that a little bit, like I have somewhere around probably 30 to 40 images that I trained my model with. The more that you use to train your model, the better. And if you're really wanting it to be consistent with like your body type, all different angles of your face, you want to make sure that you have images you're training your model with that represent that. So if you're only using, let's say, selfies to train your model, but you have no pictures of like the body type that you have or that your trained character has, AI is going to assume and give you different variations of that. So you want to make sure that like if you are doing mainly full body shots, that you have 10 or more images that are just full body shots. And you know, you can, let's say if you have 2 full body shot images, but then the other 28 pictures are selfies of you, that's not going to be enough to train it consistently. It will help, you know, compared to not having any full body shots, but you want to have like an equal amount. So same thing for like, for example, tattoos. This is something that I need to work on with my trained character, but there's a lot of people that I, in the past, would do photo shoots for, and they had various different tattoos, and the AI model wouldn't train or come out consistently with their tattoos because I didn't have specific, images referencing their tattoos and all the different angles of their tattoos. So it has to be uploaded as a reference consistently. Okay. So, I mean, I would need to see, Pamela, I would need to see what images you're using. If you want to send me over a message, if you're comfortable sharing the images with me that you are using for your character, the other thing that I would need to see would be the prompts that you're putting into Crea, just to see like an example. All right, so let's go back into agent mode. Here's a good one, digital product idea generator. And we're basically having it do some market research with our niche and asking for a specific output. So, okay, and I will give this prompt to you guys as well in the comments. When I send the message through the school community, if you can send it through school, Pamela, that is the easiest place to get a hold of me. So for this one, it says act as my product development. Oh my goodness. Development strategist with 25 years of experience. Analyze trending pain points, comments, and keywords beyond the surface level to identify 5 new digital product ideas or services I can create given your knowledge of my business and current offers. For outputs, offer concept, promise, transformation, and price suggestion. And we'll send that off. I'm curious to see what this comes up with. I did a lot in the beginning of last year with scaling and collaborating to the point where it became really exhausting. It's really hard when you get the ball rolling as a solopreneur to keep up with certain things. And it's a lot of things that I don't feel like are talked about, which is kind of crazy to me because like a lot of these Facebook groups that we're in, for example, like we teach and preach and educate people on starting a business and changing your life and the glories of it and blah, blah, blah. But I don't see a lot of people talking about like, hey guys, are you doing monthly performance reviews on yourself? Are you making sure that you're good financially? Are you going and looking at your analytics to see what's performing well and planning for it? And like how to handle your workflow as you go from being like a smaller creator to being known for and having more people in your community, having more people reaching out to you in DMs, and how you handle the volume increasing of that. I don't see a lot of people talking about that, and maybe I'm not in those spaces. But that is something that I am going to be working on this year to help me with that. So like, for example, like I was thinking about that this morning with that man that was in my DMs. And like, I do have periods of time on Messenger that I'm harder to reach, but like, I need people to understand that I am one person and I have family emergencies. I have 2 boys that I'm taking care of. I have grief that I'm dealing with. I have health things that I'm dealing with. And by no means is this like, hey, these are excuses and like, I don't have time for people. I give my heart and soul into what I do. And the people who really know me know that and they understand. But some people don't, and some people don't care to understand, and they just want the information out of you, and they get very offended and take it very, very personal if I can't sit all day and have a conversation with you. I've gotten to a place with Messenger where I really have to be disciplined in how I prioritize my communication with people, because on one hand, I have, a paid school community that now has almost 400 people in it, which saying that out loud is kind of crazy. I know maybe that sounds kind of small for anybody bigger out there or, working in a company, but like 400 paid members in a community that are paying for me to teach them marketing, social media, AI, and business is crazy to me. And so those people get priority access to me. Those people, I wake up in the morning, I go to my school community, I check my messages, I troubleshoot, I fix back end things, I have conversations to help those people and kind of have like one-on-one guidance with these people that are in that community because they're paying to be there. And then I have my free community, which is a priority because that is the first part of my funnel and I need to be putting value into that. And then I have my social media that I do my marketing and people become aware of me and that I exist and who I am. And so balancing all of that as you grow in following and are seen as a go-to for certain things and being stretched so much as one person, it's not a frustration with any of those people. I mean, what is obviously a frustration is the people that become extremely rude and don't have an understanding that it can take a couple days to get back to somebody. I don't have people that I hire. I don't have a team working for me, and I am a one-woman show. So that is on my list this year, basically. I wish people talked about things like that more often. I feel like there's either one or the other. There's, just starting out and getting the ball rolling, and it's a lot easier to manage communities and conversations and be in your inbox off and on all day with people. But then when you grow, you really have to have this balancing act to be productive, still come out with new things, still have maintenance on the things that exist, and have conversations and produce results. All right, so let's see what the agent came up with here. Okay, so based on current research and the challenges many small business owners and digital product creators face, Several key pain points stand out. Rising cost and uneven cash flow make financial resilience and price strategy critical. Lean teams often struggle with time and resource constraints, juggling multiple marketing tasks with limited budgets, and staff leads to exhaustion and inefficiency. Many entrepreneurs feel overwhelmed by fragmented data and can't track ROI across multiple platforms. They need simple, centralized analytics and basic training to interpret metrics. There's also a growing need for There's also a growing need for help attracting and retaining talent, outsourcing specialized tasks, and building a distinctive brand voice amid noisy markets. Absolutely. These insights inform the following digital product / service concepts for your brand. Okay, so idea one. Okay, so cool. So it gave me this table here. So it followed the output that I needed. And we can actually copy this and go put it in a document and save this if we need to do so. Okay, so number one, Lean Launch Accelerator, a 30-day guided workbook and video mini course that walks clients through ideation, audience research, minimum viable products creation, and launch using streamlined templates and AI-powered content prompts. Tackles time and bandwidth issues by providing ready-to-use checklists and content calendars. The promise is to launch your digital offer in 30 days without the overwhelm, but we will take that out because that's very AI. Clients get weekly action plans and templates that free them from decision fatigue and expensive agency fees. The transformation is that students move from feeling stuck and overextended to confidently launching a polished offer while still managing their day-to-day responsibilities. Suggested price is $97 for a self-paced kit, or an optional $197 tier with live group coaching. That's amazing. That's really good. Because I mean, if you think about like all of the options and products for like, here's how to start your business and here's a whole this on how to do this. This is a time structured, hey, this is what we're doing in 30 days. It can be self-paced, but this is a done for you plan where you put the work in, but this is telling you the steps, and then having that option to have like live guidance and like check-ins. You know, you could do like a weekly check-in with them. Like, hey, let's meet on Mondays at, 11 a.m. to check in with your progress from last week and kind of talk about how we're going to start this week off. That is a really, really cool idea. I'm working on getting more of the everyday task off my plate. I hear ya. I do. Data scraping, meaning like having agent mode go and do market research for you. Now, you want to word that in a way where it is pulling conversations from real people and not, I don't know, it's kind of ironic and it's kind of preference to what you want to do, because you don't want to use information and make something as if you're using a credible source if you're using like social media comments or, a Reddit thread and opinions on that. But market research is done best to me when it's coming from real people, real conversations, what comments are getting a lot of likes from other people, meaning they agree with the standpoint that person is commenting, rather than, a Forbes article of somebody projecting 2026 to be all about AI agents, So obviously there is some value in an article by a reputable company and source, but I enjoy personally doing most of my market research via social media to see what my actual target audience, the people who would and could buy from me, what they are actually talking about, what they are struggling with, what people are agreeing with, and what common questions come up that could or could not fill a gap in the market. So for example, if I go into a digital marketing group and I see tons and tons of posts or comments about, hey, I'm trying to train an AI character and I just cannot get my character to remain consistent. That tells me I need to go and see what products or services or classes are available to help people with this, because that is a common thing that I see in, let's say, AI groups, for example, and content creators who are wanting to use AI in their business. They're struggling with that. And so people have trainings and courses galore on AI, but is there anything that is specifically pointing those people to, hey, I teach this or I offer this to make sure that you get a consistent character every single time you train an AI character? Or is it just, you know, I have an AI community that teaches everything you need to know about AI? And so then it's like, well, do I want to join that? Does it help me with that? This is more specific to, hey guys, I see you talking about this being an issue. This is going to help you have a consistent character, and we teach via this, this, and this to make sure that you have that consistency. And I'm speaking directly to their problem. So like one of my best-selling products ever was my Facebook marketing ebook. It was a book that I wrote myself. And a lot of people were very tired of marketing on Instagram and TikTok or places where they had to be consistent with video content. And they wanted to know how they could market and master Facebook so that they don't have to keep trying to be consistent with something that was difficult for them. And so I saw that gap in the market and wrote a book helping people with that. And that's, I think probably to this day, if I were to go and look at my analytics, that book has sold more than anything else that I've ever offered, ever. Going back to the point of what I was saying, using agent mode to do market research for you is really, really amazing. And this is something that you could schedule in ChatGPT. So if I were to go to a new chat and say, so first of all, I would want to make sure I write a good enough prompt for this, because I only get so many uses with agent mode. And so I have a project in ChatGPT where it builds me super prompts, and I'm going to go find it. Now they do have free GPTs as well that you can use to help better your prompts. But like for this one, I am going to go in here and say, well, we're going to let it load first. Okay, so I want to build a prompt that is going to use ChatGPT agent mode to do market research for me, for my niche and target audience. I don't want this research to be only articles. I want ChatGPT agent to go into Reddit threads and comment on public social media platform post to actually gather data and reoccurring pain points, questions, concerns, etc. from the audience that could be my potential customer. These need to be recent, let's say 3 months or less. Please build me a super prompt for this. Make sure the outcome is detailed and thorough. So then I'm going to have it create a good prompt to do that with, because I don't want to put something cookie cutter and waste one of my agent mode uses. Oh my gosh. Look at this prompt. This is insane. Holy moly. Okay, I'm definitely going to share this with you guys in the comments. That's crazy. Okay, so now we're going to go into new chats, and I'm going to select agent mode. I'm going to put that bad boy in there. Act as a ruthless market research analyst and consumer insight strategist with 25 years of experience, specializing in mining real buyer language from communities, comment sections, and forums to uncover what people actually struggle with, ask about, and complain about before they buy. I need you to use ChatGPT agent mode to do real market research for my niche and target audience based on recent public conversations, not just articles. I want you to actively pull patterns from Reddit threads and comment sections on public posts across major social platforms. The goal is to identify reoccurring pain points, questions, concerns, objections, desires, myths, and decision triggers that my potential customer are expressing in their own words. The research must be recent, from the last 3 months or less, and should reflect what people are talking about right now, not generic summaries. I'm not going to read this whole thing to you. It's in the comments if you guys want to grab it, but that is a super, super prompt. Okay, so we're going to let that take off. Pretty fascinating stuff. Like, if you're doing some manual market research, go and find some big name creators or businesses with social media accounts on your preferred platform. That could be Instagram, YouTube, honestly, wherever. And just go in the comments. Go in the comment section of their recent videos and scroll through to see what is being liked and talked about by people, the skepticism, pain points, concerns, objections, all of that shenanigans. That is like the best place to do some genuine market research and not just trust an article telling you what's trending and not, you know, like go and do it manually yourself. Yeah, so I will be covering agents more in my paid community, Marketing and AI Made Simple. Right now, I am really trying to collect and gather use cases for content creators and online business owners, small businesses, for people to use and test them out myself before we go into that deeper. Yeah, I've yet to get to a point with anything where I've given a login to AI. I've more so just kind of done some of the things I've demonstrated in this live with like data scraping and market research. And again, you know, if you want to use it to do a deep research on something and present like a presentation, you could. I could give it some of my classroom trainings or like transcripts from my training videos and ask it to put like a presentation together for it. But I also kind of think too, though, like I would probably personally use something like Notebook LM to do that, because there's other options of things it can do for me as well. So again, just diving into use cases. So another thing you could do too, so like if any of you follow any of like my business bookkeeping practices and you have a daily to-do list that have the same task you do every day, or like a weekly to-do list, a monthly to-do list, take some pictures of that list, give it to ChatGPT or whatever LLM you're using and say, hey, like I'm interested in trying out agent mode, but I don't really know of any use cases for me because it's so new. If you could analyze my to-do list and let me know some use cases that I could use agent mode for, and it will do that. So that is another way that you can kind of acclimate yourself to using something that your brain is like not trying to help you with. So here's the comprehensive market research report you requested, which dives into real discussions from Reddit on the digital product space from October 21st, 2025 to today. It covers recent buyer language, pain points, questions, objections, desires, segments, messaging, angles, and product opportunities, all backed by citations. All right. And so here's my report. Let's just scroll for a minute and see how detailed this is, which is pretty crazy. Pretty insane. And like, this is gold. So like I could do this once a week and study something like this and copy, paste this, put it in a document, put it back into ChatGPT, and there's several things I could do. I could ask it to create a content schedule for me with all this information. And I can ask it to do educational content, top of funnel content, where you're basically attracting new people to you and telling them who you are. Sales content with this that's related to my offers that ChatGPT knows about me. I could have it create new product ventures and avenues to go down based on this research. And there's a lot that you could do with this. So it's not just, oh, reading this and knowing it. It is, here's actual data from actual real people in this space and what they need content about, what they need answers to, what they need solutions to. So this could be, you know, opportunities for your lead magnets, your communities, your free communities, your paid communities, your products, and just your content in general. Like you could pick something in here every day that you go and talk about in your stories. You go and do a live about it. Yeah, like this is pretty freaking rad. I hope you guys have a fantastical rest of your week.